No, I'm not in my room hiding from my 4-year-old. No. I just figured while she's occupied, I might shut the door. So I've been thinking a lot about, how guilty I used to feel as a parent from always feeling a need to disengage or disconnect from my children. Not all the time, just some days it was really, really difficult to constantly be engaged and to remain connected with my children. Now she's yelling out already. Yes! Pardon? Just a minute. I'll come and help you in a moment. I'm sorry, guys. I have to include these bits or I'll never get a video out today. So on some days, I used to find it much more difficult to remain connected with my children all day. And I still have days like that. And, it began with me thinking, okay, this must be because of social media or my phone. So I started putting my phone away during the day and just checking it every so often, basically for emergencies and things like that. Emergency Facebook scrolls, if you don't hardly mind. And I still found that every now and then I'd still be quite, drifting off to fairyland a lot. And here's the truth about what was actually going on. I'm a person on the autism spectrum. My brain spends a lot of time and requires a lot of time drifting off into fairyland. I need time for my brain to engage and to be immersed in thought. I like to sit and think, and sometimes, I don't have a defense against that, and it's not problematic for me. I'm okay with how I am. I like being on the spectrum. I don't need, people messaging me saying, try this. This will stop you from thinking. Because I like to think. Thank you. So what happens is with my 7-year-old, she's nonverbal. So when we spend time together, there's not a lot of time taken up communicating verbally. So we communicate in other ways. It's more of an energetic connection, we spend time together quietly and we really, really enjoy that time. Now my 4-year-old, on the other hand, and my other children, we connect a lot through voice. Now my 4-year-old is on the spectrum, but she's very, 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 very social. And her need for social engagement begins at 6 a.m. if it hasn't already been happening during the night already. And she loves spending time with me. And I love that she loves spending time with me. She'll say, Mum, let's do this. Let's go here. Let me show you this. Show me how to do this. Let me teach you this. Can you teach me how to do this? And it's constant. It's constant. It's constant all day until bedtime and then beyond bedtime. Now, the thing about that is, going back to what I said about my brain type, being on the spectrum, my brain requires a lot of thinking time and a lot of extra time to process things. So something might have happened last week and I'm only up to processing it now to be able to assess how I feel about it, what I'm going to do about it. Now, I don't want this to be mistaken with obsessing, which isn't a word I really like being used in regard to people on the spectrum anyway. It's not obsessing. It's not being immersed in anxiety. It's just my regular processing for my autistic brain. So I find when I'm with a child or a person who needs me a lot all day, I really struggle with staying engaged for long periods of time without regular breaks. Now, I'm sure that most people would have read about people on the spectrum that when we're hyper-focused, or when we're doing something that we enjoy, or we're really immersed in, or we're really focused on or concentrating, we don't do so well with being interrupted. It's difficult for us to get back into that thing. But also, we really enjoy having lengthy periods of being engaged with something. And usually, there's a lot of thought that's going into that engagement. So I would often find myself frustrated because I'd be called out of that process of thought and demanded to be back in the present moment, which is good, really good on many levels. It's great that our children do that for us. And I promote and advocate for people being present with their children and giving our children the best of us. But here's what I also promote. Not giving ourselves a kick in the backside for something we don't often have a defence against. Now, if you're the parent of a child on the spectrum, you might be on the spectrum yourself, and you might know that and you might not know that. More often than not, people don't know that. They wouldn't have a clue. So you might be struggling to remain connected with your children as much as you think you should be, or society tells you should be, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's because you're a person too. I'm a person, and I'm a person on the spectrum, and I do have requirements to keep myself healthy, happy, balanced, and progressing, moving forward. And if I don't take small breaks during the day, like this one, sitting in the bedroom with the door shut for 5 minutes, I'll burn out really, really quickly because my brain is screaming at me, please just sit down and stare into space for 5 minutes. I just need things like that. That's just how I am. It's how my brain works, and I can't help it. So if you're beating yourself up about, having a certain need that you're trying to overcome, or trying not to be a certain way because you want to be a better parent, please remember to focus on all the really amazing things that you're doing as a parent already, like spending time with your children for a large part of your day, being engaged with them, giving them our full attention when we can. That is commendable. Not everybody can even manage that. Please be really kind to yourself. And I always try and remember to show myself the same compassion and acceptance and understanding and love and care that I extend to my children. Yeah. Anyway, I'm off to Shepparton tomorrow to spend some time with a really lovely family on Friday, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your week.